Hey there, my name is Shane Craddock, and this is the Inner Edge podcast, where I share a different take on how to lead and live a sustainable high-performance life. Over the course of different episodes, I'm going to challenge the belief that tension, stress, and struggle are essential to success and creativity. My experience is that there's an easier way, there's a better way, and indeed there's an essential way that we need to explore for the times that we live in. So let's go ahead, let's jump in and explore. Hi there, welcome to the Inner Edge with me, Shane Craddock. Today's episode I'm calling the Shackleton Mindset. Now, I'll get into a little bit as to, I suppose, why I'm calling it that, about Sir Ernest Henry Shackleton, who was, as I only recently discovered, an Anglo-Irish Antarctic explorer. I always thought he was British completely, but he has an Irish connection, which is interesting. But the past few months, or really the past kind of 6 weeks, I've had a couple of people that I've worked with at an intense level over the last few years achieve significant goals. One is probably more recent, over the last 9 months, and then one is somebody that I worked with himself and his team to go after achieving a significant goal, which was to sell their business at the right level, which they have done, did it quite recently. And then somebody else who was looking to raise a significant amount of money in an investment round for their company, and they also succeeded with it. Neither one is guaranteed of, was guaranteed of doing that. Both goals were quite large, seemed impossible. And I suppose from my point of view, that always excites me, is what seems like impossible, let's give it a go. But Shackleton was somebody, as an explorer, who seemed to galvanize certain type of people around him to explore and to conquer and to go through very severe tests that required really huge resilience. And my own explorations into the field of, I guess, human potential, or what we can do as people, is that everybody has an inner Shackleton mindset that is built into them. It's built into you. So we can activate it if we choose to. Very often that activation can happen in a way by accident, if we're put into an extreme crisis. Nothing like a good crisis to bring out your inner Shackleton and say, right, let's just get this done. But I do believe that if you have an understanding that it's there, it's possible to become more fearless in taking on more significant goals. Now, let's just talk a little bit about Shackleton. As I say, he actually was born in Ireland, believe it or not. As Irish people, we often try to claim people no more than the British do. But anyway, he was born in Kilkee, County Kildare. And then they moved to London when he was around 10 or 11. And over the course of the following years, he became interested in exploration, particularly in cold places. And I think he was in a race. He was kind of a peer of Scott and Amundsen, who were renowned explorers. And he came close to, I think, being the person in the race to the South Pole, but Amundsen got there before him. And then Shackleton then kind of turned his attention to crossing the Antarctica from sea to sea, right across the pole. As one of his famous expeditions, his ship, the Endurance, I suppose, is renowned because it became trapped in a pack of ice and was being slowly crushed before the shore parties could land. So they had to escape. The boat disintegrated, and they launched lifeboats. The crew did and then they ended up in what's called Elephant Island. And then ultimately a small crew had to go to South Georgia Island to kind of enable an escape and a rescue. And that ocean voyage was, I think, 720 nautical miles, which I think is about just over, 800 miles? And has become a kind of a very famous exploit, adventure. But there was a famous ad that apparently went out, but it's kind of disputed. It's not 100% sure that this is true. But one of my clients used this ad as a kind of a way to talk about attracting in the talent for his voyage, or trying to achieve the impossible. And the ad is: men wanted for hazardous journey, low wages, bitter cold, long hours of complete darkness, safe return doubtful, honor and recognition in the event of success. So that ad is attached to apparently an ad that Shackleton ran, but it is disputed, but still, let's just assume that it's true because it's a beautiful bit of copywriting, and it's a bit of class text. And then something else that I found about Shackleton was one of his peers in the British Science Association, a guy called Sir Raymond Priestley. And in his 1956 address to the BSA, the British Science Association, this is what he said. He said he would focus on and regard Scott for scientific method, Amundsen for speed and efficiency. But when disaster strikes and all hope is gone, get down on your knees and pray for Shackleton. So, and I think a lot of people don't realize the extent to which they have this inner resilience within themselves. And so therefore, if you don't feel that you have that, or you look at other people who do have it, I think understandably then a default consequence is that you don't take on as much, or you don't test yourself as much, or stretch yourself. The possibilities around us get limited. Therefore, not just you lose out, but then the people around you lose out because maybe we don't get the best you. And I'm always interested in that, is that firmly I believe that better people make better leaders make a better world. So therefore, if we can create better people, and how do you do that? Well, there's many ways around that. That's part, I guess, what I'm exploring in this particular medium, the podcast, is sharing with you some of the things that I'm seeing or that I've discovered. I'm not saying it's an absolute truth, but hopefully it'll provide some provocation or food for thought for you. So what about you? Or as I say up north, what about you? Have you any area that would benefit from the Shackleton mindset? Pick an area of your life where perhaps, I don't know, you have a big goal. Maybe you're experiencing some doubt. What's your inner voice saying about it? Bring in Shackleton into your inner team. What would Shackleton say? What would the people around them say? And by the way, just while I'm here, I may as well say that there's a phenomenal book. Again, it's got an Irish angle because one of the guys who was in the inner team of Shackleton's was a guy called Tom Crean from Kerry. And there's a beautiful book. It's a really, really great book if you're interested in this kind of thing, called Unsung Hero. And it's about Tom Crean's life, but it also gives you a real insight into the challenges that these guys went through, which were just unreal. And they're the kind of guys and stories that I have to say I'm attracted to, because it just shows sometimes the potential that we have if we can lean into the fact that, do you know what, maybe you have this super resilience built into you. My experience is that we do. And you have a Shackleton mindset that comes from that. But you have to be open to exploring that and allowing it to come out, not to bring it in. You allow it to come out. So let's go back on that again. It says men want it, so we'll change it. People want it for hazardous journey. Low wages, bitter cold, long hours of complete darkness. Yeah, maybe for a while. But in life, that doesn't have to be the way. Safe return doubtful. Maybe success, not certain. Maybe success not guaranteed. And then it says honor and recognition in the event of success. Okay, fine. That's for the ego. But I think for me, what's more attractive, even as I read that for the people that I work for, myself in particular, is forget about honor and recognition. I think it's more to do with looking yourself in the mirror and kind of going, am I living up to my own potential? Am I stretching myself? And if you're human, which obviously, hopefully you are, well, then you're going to be asking yourself, right, there's going to be moments where you're going to go, like, can I do this? Will I get through this? Am I on the right track? Go back to my previous podcast episode and listen to that. Question your mind, question what you're thinking, but never question the fact that there's incredible resilience built into you. It's there. Shackleton knew it. It doesn't mean you won't be tested or challenged, but that actually allows it to come out even more. Anyway, that's some food for thought. I hope you got something out of that. Bye-bye.